Right. Good afternoon. Bienvenidos. We'll call this meeting to order at 5 o'clock. So we have our hearing session. This is a portion of our meeting just designated for comments from the public about matters related to the closed session agenda. Comments are limited to 3 minutes with a maximum of 20 minutes allocated for a particular item or topic. To address the governing board, members of the public must have submitted a completed speaker card to the clerk for the board before the closed session portion of the meeting began. Do we have any speakers? No? Okay. All right. So then we can adjourn into closed session. Right? We got that out. Okay. 5:01. Okay. Good evening and welcome. Bienvenidos, Anik Emasanil. Y bienvenidos pa mi escuela. The board has returned from closed session and will reconvene into open session at 6:04 p.m. In closed session, the board received a letter from Leonard Rodriguez, Assistant Superintendent of Student Support Services. The letter informs the board and superintendents of Mr. Rodriguez's decision to terminate his current contract of employment effective June 30th, 2024. The letter signed by Mr. Rodriguez and as indicated by her signature was received by the superintendent on March 11th, 2024. The board and superintendent will honor Mr. Rodriguez's request. On the motion of trustee Lundin, seconded by Fish, and a unanimous vote, the board has accepted Leonard Rodriguez's resignation as assistant superintendent of student services and has appointed him as senior director. Educational services, sorry. Has appointed him as Senior Director of Educational Services effective July 1st, 2024. Superintendent or her designee shall notify the employee of his action in writing and in due course relay additional information to Mr. Rodriguez regarding terms and conditions of employment for this new position. On behalf of the governing board, we would like to thank Mr. Rodriguez for your longstanding and ongoing service to the district, students, employees, and our community. And we'll move on to the flag salute. Flag salute and student presentation will be led by student leaders from Mary Faye Pendleton.
Good evening, board members, district leaders, and community members. My name is Elena Cox, and I'm an eighth grader at Mary Faye, and I am pleased to represent my school this evening as a student leader. This evening, Hunter and I will share information collected by the students across the district about the school cafeteria and the meals we enjoy at school in the Fallbrook Union Elementary School District.
Hello, I am Hunter Bobwick. I'm a second grade student leader at Mary Faye Pendleton, and I'm excited to participate in the board meeting this evening to represent students from my school. I really like being on the committee called Infuse. I have learned more about our district and made new friends at the upper schools. Thank you for the opportunity. Please stand, place your right hand over your heart, and join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. As a student at Mary Faye Pendleton, I have the opportunity to eat school lunch in the cafeteria. Like me, most kids enjoy having choices in what we eat. And so there was a lot of interest by our fellow students to provide input on the cafeteria student feedback survey. The Infuse team, 2 students per school, shared the survey opportunity with peers during lunch and recess. There was almost 2,000 responses, which is amazing. And this evening, we are excited to share what the students like with you. Hunter, did you know on average, Child Nutrition Services and Fallbrook Union serve 1,600 breakfasts, 3,600 lunches, and 650 afternoon super snacks every day?
Yes, Elena, I know the cafeteria is busy. In Fallbrook, over 1 million meals are served each year. The student survey provided us with the student favorites for breakfast and lunch. Students reported liking the concha the best, pizza bagel, and the cinnamon roll. Yum! I like these items too. The favorite lunch item for students is also my favorite, popcorn chicken! Students also like cheeseburgers and a chicken tamale. I hear the board members and cabinet staff actually had chicken tamales for dinner before this meeting. Please give me a thumbs up if you liked it too. I'm glad you liked them. The chicken tamale is actually gluten-free.
A real concern.
Students have a lot of suggestions to be included on the meal in the future. Students were interested in having spaghetti, meatballs, sushi, ramen noodles, steak, and vegetarian options. In our meeting, we learned that Mrs. Amy Hazley, the director of CNS, hi, Ms. Hazley, is actually looking into adding these into our future menus. Students also shared their favorite fruits and veggies such as watermelon, strawberries, avocados, and mangoes. Many of these can be found in the salad bars when they're in season. Students also asked for Takis, Gatorade, sodas, and candy. Sadly, and a bit obviously, CNS cannot provide students with these items because junk foods do not meet the nutrition requirements for the food served at school. Nice try.
Thank you for the opportunity to present student input at your board meeting. Students like me appreciate knowing that you care what we think. On behalf of the students of FUESD, we would like to give a big shout out to our lunch ladies. I especially want to recognize the team at MFP. They are awesome.
This concludes our presentation this evening. Just in case parents want to provide input to the CNS as well, here's a convenient QR code that leads to the parent survey. Again, thank you for listening to the student voice of Infused.
He's gonna be on the stage.
I'm so impressed. You know, one of the things that I love about Fallbrook is that we really focus on leadership for every child, not just the kids that are student counselor and infused, but for all of our children. And leadership, what we saw tonight, not only you helping us with the survey, gathering information about your school, what you want, also coming here to speak to us and public speaking in front of everyone. And so those are skills that I really appreciate. I know as we did the community survey, I saw that our families are looking for personal skills and communication as well. So you did an amazing job. I'm trying to take my job away from me. Good job. All right, let's, Hunter, can you come on up? I'd like to give you an award for being a leader, not only just presenting here, but being a leader at school. Congratulations. Take your picture here. Beautiful, thank you. And then Elena, come on up. Congratulations. Thank you for being a leader at Mary Day. And if we could have both of them come up and Amy come up, our director of CNS who works so hard and.
Yay, Amy.
Yeah.
Two of our farming partners gifted some goodies to our board members tonight and Ms. Hazel in honor of our partnership. And so be proud of our Dossie family farm. And Joe Green is our newest partner. We started purchasing from them this month. So, thank you.
So parents, if you haven't been to school lately, these meals are, thank you, they're really good. They are not the meals that I grew up eating back in the 70s, early 80s. These meals are delicious. We just had a sample for dinner and it was fabulous.
Thank you.
I so appreciate how we source from our local farms around New County and Fallbrook in particular. So beautiful. Thank you.
All right, that was great. Moving on. We are gonna ask to approve the minutes of the February 6th, 2024 special meeting and the February 15th, 2024 regular board meeting. It is recommended the governing board approve the minutes of the February 6th, 2024 special meeting and February 15th, 2024 regular board meeting. Do I have a motion? Thank you. And a second?
Can I second it even though I wasn't at the special meeting? Because I wasn't there. Maybe we need to separate those motions? Or you can just do the two, because I'd have to abstain because I wasn't at the second meeting, the smaller special meeting yet. So you have to second.
So I will second.
Okay.
And I will call for a vote. Trustee Fish?
And I'm going to abstain because I wasn't there.
I vote aye.
That's fine.
Yeah.
The majority. It's good.
Right, so we have 2 votes in favor out of 3. All right, moving on, community relations. Our hearing session. This is the portion of our meeting designated for comments from the public, excuse me, about matters not on the agenda or within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board. Should individuals wish to comment on items on the present agenda, they may also do so during this portion of the meeting or at the time the item is considered by the board. Comments are limited to 3 minutes with a maximum of 20 minutes allocated for a particular item or topic. While the Brown Act allows the board to hear issues within its jurisdiction from the public that are not on the agenda, it only allows the board to respond. Sorry, I had some salsa. I think I need some water. I'll get do this and get some water. While the Brown Act allows the board to hear issues within its jurisdiction from the public that are not on the agenda, it only allows the board to respond in a very limited manner, such as providing direction to staff. If the board were to have more than this type of brief discussion on an item not on the agenda, it could be a violation of the Brown Act rules for posting the agenda. To address the governing board, members of the public must have submitted a completed speaker card to the clerk of the board before the open session portion of the meeting began. Ms. Lundin, do we have any speakers?
Yes, Mr. Favela, our speaker is Leticia Maldonado Stamos, who will be talking about Fallbrook Alair.
Thank you.
Can I speak to that when the agenda item comes up?
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
Thank you. That brings us to our report from the base liaison. Dr. Paul, do you have a report to share?
I don't. It's good to see everyone, though. Thank you.
Okay, and then we'll move on to our reports from the board. Trustee Lundin.
Nothing to report.
Trustee Fish is, hopefully will join us soon. So I'll move on and give my report. So I did have the opportunity to attend the end of the reclassification event at La Paloma last week, who had a record number of students reclassifying. So congratulations to La Paloma and I believe another school, all the schools that were reclassifying. Congratulations to students and families. I know it's a big event. I'm glad to see that. And I want to share something. Well, as we continue to see the impact of budget cuts across the county, I want to share how much this has weighed in my mind in this past month. So I actually wrote something here, if you don't mind. I want just to read it. So I want to express my sympathies for all those who were affected. I didn't say anything at our last meeting when this matter was on our agenda, simply because it was a very difficult decision to make and very difficult position to be in. But that's not an excuse. Honestly, I dreaded very much this day that would come, as we knew it would come. We knew when we received the ESSER funds that this would only be temporary. And we were thrilled when we were able to add these positions to deal with the impact of COVID. All critical and all important. As has been stated many times, this is how our schools should be funded, right? Regardless of an epidemic. We understand how critically important all these positions were and still are, and we know our schools and students are impacted as a result. So speaking for myself and also for the board, I would like to thank all who were able to help our students recover from COVID's impact, and I truly want to express my sympathies for the unfortunate situation caused by these cuts. So just want to conclude with that. So we will move on with our, we have Trustee Fish. Do you have a report you'd like to share? Okay. So we can move on to report from the superintendent.
Thank you very much. I always appreciate having time to share celebrations and wonderful things that are happening in our school district. And there's, I'm never at a loss for lots of things to share. I wanted to start out with a celebration that I'm excited to announce that all 8 of our Fallbrook Union Elementary School District schools have been honored as what's called California Purple Star Schools. And Purple Star Schools, it's a prestigious recognition that recognizes schools that are dedicated to supporting military-connected children and families. And it ensures that there's a supportive and understanding environment that caters to the unique needs that our military-connected children bring to our schools. And so it's not just a badge of honor for us, it really signifies our district's role as we see ourselves as a support for our military families. We want to set the example for how other educational institutions can cater to the nuanced needs of our families and these very valued members of our community. We know that our military families, many of our children transition, we've heard 8 to 9 times during their academic career. And sometimes schools across the country don't make it that easy for them to make those transitions with
transitioning records, making sure course classes are the same, connecting families to the community. And so this is something that we really value and is important to us. We know that we have a large number of families that are military connected, and we're so thankful for the service from the families. And so, we felt that it was important for us to apply for this Purple Star designation. And so when military families see that on our website, they know, hey, this is a district that's friendly to our military families, and we're going to go out of our way to make sure that you feel welcome and that we can ease any transitions. So I was really proud to share that. I also wanted to share a little bit about Read Across America. So I shared it in my weekly update with the board, but schools all over the district were dressing up in costumes of their favorite characters and having guest readers. We had lots of military, we had police officers, fire department, everybody from the community came out to celebrate Read Across America and really celebrate literacy. And I know that as a board, this is something that you're so committed to and that I'm so committed to. You know, it is the skill that every child needs to be successful. And so sometimes we're working really hard, reading rigorous books, but other times we're just really enjoying beautiful literature with kids. And that's a little bit about what Read Across America is. I had the opportunity to be a guest reader over at Fraser and Mary Faye Pendleton as well. And I read the book, The Little Butterfly That Could, and Fraser gave this book back to me. They shared this, I shared it, I got it from the library, and they shared it as a gift back to me and my daughter and family. And they wrote the first grade, I read to all the first grade, and they wrote the most darling thing. They gave me a beautiful card, and all the kids signed it. And I said, oh, I'm so glad, because I had so much fun reading with them and sharing that love of reading. So, you know, at the superintendent level, I don't get all the love notes from the kids that I used to get when I was a site principal. And so I just wanted to give a shout out to Fraser Elementary School, first grade, and say I had so much fun, and I hope that you invite me back to read some more, because that was a wonderful celebration. And that connects with, I'm so just thrilled to take some time in our agenda and honor the Fallbrook Allaire reading event and day of service. They're celebrating their 20th anniversary during this event. I want to invite the entire community, and it's scheduled for March 23rd at 10 a.m. It's at May Ellis Elementary School. It's just a beautiful, I've not attended one, and so this is going to be my first, their 20th, but I've seen all of the pictures and the videos, and it looks like a beautiful event. And I've been part of some of the planning where there's lots of reading and projects to support reading, parent workshops as well. And it just is a wonderful opportunity of service. So I just want to formally take an opportunity to invite the community for that. Let's see. Another plug that I'd like to give is that this weekend, this Saturday, we have the State Virtual Migrant Education Parent Conference. It's this Saturday, and it's special for Region 9. And Region 9 individuals are going to be featured. And so what I want to share is our very own Oscar Caralampio, FUESD teacher and Fallbrook High School board member, is going to be doing the lunchtime keynote speech. And so you can tune in to that Zoom, and some of the topics, it's parents' role in ensuring our children's well-being. And there's going to be a lot of other breakout sessions. What is English learner classification, recognizing the signs to prevent suicide, lots of things that are on parents' minds. And so come join me in honoring Fallbrook and the work that Oscar Caralampio is doing, and tune in virtually. So I know that I said that, it's important to share the celebrations, but I also think it's important to also share the challenges. And I did get permission from the family today to share with you that we had a really heartbreaking event that happened in our community. today, fire ravaged through a mobile home and completely destroyed the residents in this home in Fallbrook. And the family includes one of our students and his mom, who is actually the para educator of the year at Fallbrook Elementary School. And she dedicates so much of herself every day to our community. And during these trying times, I know that there's a group from the school that is putting together donations to support the family with temporary housing and clothing and supports. So I have, for board members, I put on your table, there is a Zelle code. And then I also left it on the back table for anybody that is interested. I think they're going to post it on Friends of Fallbrook as well. What I know about Fallbrook is this is an amazing family, and I know that we're going to wrap around. And our district has already, our social workers have already been reaching out to the family to support as much as we can. So just my heart goes out to our family, and I know that they'll need some care moving forward.
And thank you for sharing. That brings us to our third item, section 3, administration. Should we have Leticia comment here?
I think afterwards, yeah, we have a presentation and we'll do. We have a little presentation.
Good evening, board and fellow cabinet members, Ms. Hazel. It's our honor to celebrate a deep tradition in the Fallbrook community. And although we could speak on this topic all night, I think that it is most appropriate that we have some of the students who have benefited from the lovely and heartfelt and enriching activities of Fallbrook Alair join us this evening to present the proclamation. Will you join me, Axel and Raphael? And so in recognition of 20 years of Fallbrook Alair, please accept, board, the Fallbrook Resolution designating March 23rd, 2024 as Fallbrook Alair Appreciation Day.
Hello and good evening to the Fallbrook Alair Appreciation Day. My name is Raphael and I'm in 6th grade.
Hello. Hello, good evening. My name is Axel Salmeron and I'm in 5th grade.
Whereas the Fallbrook Alair Reading Family Literacy Cesar Chavez Day of Service and Learning elevates student literacy and augments the instruction facilitated in the classroom to enrich the lifelong love of reading and long-term academic success. Whereas Leticia Maldonado Stamos has dedicated her time and effort to enhance early literacy for the children of Fallbrook through 20 years of Fallbrook Alair. And whereas reading is a foundational skill that is crucial for the success of students in their academic and personal lives. And whereas there is a great importance in early literacy, as it helps children develop critical thinking skills, fosters creativity, and expands their worldview. And whereas there is joy to be found in literature and connections students can make with each other and the world around them through the written word. And whereas a literate community is a vibrant and informed community, fostering continued growth and economic prosperity.
And whereas Barack Obama underscored that reading is a gateway skill that makes all other learning possible, and whereas viewing reading as an equality lever ensures that students who are furthest from justice have access to opportunities extending beyond the classroom, and whereas the governing board of the Fallbrook Union Elementary School District officially recognizes the 20th annual Fallbrook Alair event to be held March 23rd, 2024. Now, therefore, be it resolved in celebration of the Fallbrook Allied event, the governing board proudly designates the 23rd of March 2024 as Fallbrook Allied Appreciation Day. Be it further resolved that we honor Leticia Maldonado Stamos and the Fallbrook Allied Committee for their tireless efforts to promote early literacy and for inspiring a love of reading in children of Fallbrook. The long-standing collaboration with community partners has elevated literacy in the community, creating a culture of reading that extends beyond the classroom. The contributions made to reading and literacy over the past 20 years have made a significant impact on the lives of countless students and families, and we are grateful for the dedication to this vital cause.
Thank you so much. Can we have a round of applause?
Give just a moment because the board needs to vote on the resolution. So they're gonna, Ricardo, if you wanted to share your words and then have the board vote and then we can make it all official.
Sure. So it is recommended the governing board adopt resolution number 14-23/24 designating March 23rd, 2024 as Fallbrook Allied Appreciation Day. The governing board wishes to honor Leticia Maldonado Stemos and Fallbrook Allied Committee for the tireless efforts to promote early literacy and for inspiring a love of reading in the children of Fallbrook. The longstanding collaboration with community partners has elevated literacy in the community, creating a culture of reading that extends beyond the classroom. The contributions made to reading and literacy over the past 20 years have made a significant impact on the lives of countless students and families, and we are grateful for the dedication to this vital cause. So with that, do I have a motion?
Move. I'll
Thank-
second.
Second, any comments? I'll call for the vote. Trustee Lundin,
Aye.
trustee Fish, and I vote aye, so that passes unanimously, and congratulations.
This beautiful book for you that honors your 20 years of service for you. In addition to, so
We have, can you show her the proclamation? There we go.
Beautiful thing.
Thank you, and I'll hold these over here.
Thank you.
I'll put them, well, let's see, I'll hold them. Oh, okay.
who wants to take? Okay. Do you want to speak first and then we'll take photos?
Speak.
Thank you, thank you. So I kind of feel like there was a conspiracy. So I really wasn't expecting this, but I want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart for the recognition for my work with Fallbrook Allied Reading, Family Literacy, Cesar Chavez Day of Service and Learning. And this is a Golden Bell Award winning program. But I'm only here tonight because my 21-year-old grandson, Isaias, has put his life on hold to come and help my husband and me. And I was able to take a shower to be here today. And my friend Maria Gomez is at my house helping with dinner. But I'm really here to say that this is not my work, but our work that's being recognized. And this moment should be a pat on the back for every person that has given time, money, resources, support to Fallbrook Allied. And it is my wish that somehow they feel how important they are. I'm really embarrassed by this recognition, but in a good way. I wanted to be here to acknowledge that none of this would be possible without the Maria Gomez's, Martha Covarrubias, Leo Curcios, Alex Gonzalez's, Lorena Albinos, Marisela Gonzalez's, Emily Zilks, Marcia Winston's, Pablo Maganda's, Carlos Jimenez's, Tom Harrington's, Jackie Albino's, Joe Bowie's, the major markets, all of whom are examples and representatives of the so many, literally thousands of volunteers that have stepped up to the plate year after year over the past 20 years. Very few have volunteered because I asked them to. They come because they believe in how literacy can raise an entire family and how service to others can uplift an entire community. And can I just take a few more seconds? And just as a follow-up to our 20th anniversary, we're having a keynote speaker this year, Dr. Viridiana Diaz, who is the Vice President at Cal State San Marcos. We're having lowriders from the community and grandparents, abuelitos, reading as well. But I would like to take just a few more seconds to read something that was written by Cesar Chavez, and it's called A Prayer of the Farm Worker Struggle. And it goes like this. Show me the suffering of the most miserable so that I will know my people's plight. Free me to pray for others, for you are present in every person. Help me to take responsibility for my own life so that I can be free at last. Grant me the courage to serve others, for in service there is true life. Give me honesty and patience so that I can work with other workers. Bring forth song and celebration so that the Spirit will be alive among us. Let the Spirit flourish and grow so that we will never tire of the struggle. Let us remember those that have died for justice, for they have given us life. Help us love even those who hate us so that we can change the world. By Cesar Chavez. Thank you very much.
They're really heavy.
Okay.
Come on over here.
You can take that one or this one is heavy. Which one do you want to hold?
Okay, that one.
Okay, maybe. Oh, we're going over there?
Huh? I'm trying to see if I can. Come on, guys, come on over, come on over. How about one on each side? You might need some help to her car with all of that.
Sí se puede.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Leticia.
Read it. All right. So moving on to our next action item. It is recommended the governing board adopt resolution number 23-24 designating March 31st, 2024 as Cesar Chavez Day. This resolution recognizes March 31st, 2024 as Cesar Chavez Day in honor of the life and legacy of Cesar Chavez, a visionary leader and founder of the first successful farm workers union in American history, the United Farm Workers. Chavez's dedication to nonviolence, social justice, and civil rights for the poor and disenfranchised resonated beyond the agricultural sector, inspiring countless Americans across various sectors to strive for human rights and worker empowerment. Known for his belief in education that draws out the best in students and his view of humanity as the ultimate book of learning, Chavez's impact is celebrated through his posthumous awards, including the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 1994 and the declaration of March 31st as Cesar Chavez Day by President Obama in 2014. Fallbrook Union Elementary School District acknowledges Chavez's contributions to equality, justice, and dignity for all U.S. citizens with this resolution. And I'll take a minute to read the resolution. This is The resolution in recognition of Cesar Chavez Day, March 31st, 2024. Whereas Cesar Chavez was a visionary leader who led the first successful farm workers union in American history and whose organization, United Farm Workers, fought for dignity, respect, humane living conditions, fair wages, and other rights and protections for farm workers. And whereas through his commitment to nonviolence, the influence of Cesar Chavez extended far beyond agriculture and inspired individuals working to better human rights, empower workers, and advance the American dream, which includes all peoples of the United States. And whereas he was also a great humanitarian who influenced and inspired millions of Americans from all walks of life to seek social justice and civil rights for the poor and disenfranchised. And whereas Cesar Chavez said, real education should consist of drawing the goodness and the best out of our own students. What better book can there be than the Book of Humanity? And whereas on March 31st, we celebrate the birthday of Cesar Chavez and honor his contributions to workers' rights and social justice, as well as his selfless service to others. And whereas in 1994, Chavez was posthumously awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the nation's highest civilian honor. And in 2014, President Obama declared March 31st Cesar Chavez Day. And whereas the Fallbrook Union Elementary School District recognizes the contributions and accomplishments of Cesar Chavez to ensure equality, justice, and dignity for all people of the United States. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Governing Board of Fallbrook Union Elementary School District, in honor of the life and legacy of Cesar Chavez, does hereby recognize March 31st, 2024 as Cesar Chavez Day. Do I have a motion?
I so move.
Thank you. And a second? Thank you. Any comments? And so I will call for a vote. Trustee Fish? Trustee Landine?
Aye.
And I vote aye, so that motion passes. Next, we have an information item, 2024-2025 District Office Reorganization. The superintendent is reducing the district office management team due to budget constraints. This organization demonstrates fiscal responsibility and incorporates community feedback and discussions regarding district office administrative staff size. An organization chart is attached. The revised organization recommendations result in a decreased salary and benefits costs of $450,863.
Gonna go up to the podium here.
I think if anyone is not able to see it and board members, you have this at the podium. So what I wanted to share with you today is our 24-25 district organizational chart. But before we do that, we had to run down the hall and ask Leticia to come back. And Leticia, not only to come back for the video that we forgot to share, but we also wanted you to know that part of Fallbrook Alair is also the Cesar Chavez Day of Service. And so the next item that we had on the agenda was a resolution from the board to honor Cesar Chavez Day on March 31st. So President Favela read the resolution. So we're honoring you and Cesar Chavez for the supports that he gave as a formal resolution. So we wanted to share with the community just a little video about Fallbrook Alair. I know you shared with us a little bit of that, but our communications team created this. And so let's take a moment.
I'm Leticia Maldonado Stamos with Fallbrook Alair Reading Family Literacy Project, Cesar Chavez Day of Service and Learning. Fallbrook Alair is a project that was developed by a group of community people here in Fallbrook as a way to celebrate, first of all, Cesar Chavez Day of Service and Learning, encourage literacy at the home, and provide opportunities for kids to do community service. we give quality books to kids. We want them to have books that they can see themselves in, or that they can see other people in a way that they never saw them before. So those are kinds of things that are going to be long-term. And just as I was walking down the hall, just looking for backpacks that have our logo on them, you know, when I see that, I get all excited because it does show that we are doing some things that people feel are important. I just hope that people will see that everyone has something that they can give. Even, it doesn't have to be money, it doesn't even have to be time sometimes. Sometimes it's just a pat on the back. And if anything, I would hope that people would look to me as a person who they can model in terms of just giving back, just trying to help somebody do something, however big or small that might be. I'm Leticia Maldonado Stamos of Fallbrook a Leer Reading Family Literacy Program, Cesar Chavez Day of Service and Learning.
We're pretty special to our community, and so thank you for coming back to watch our video.
I came, I thought you guys decided not to show it.
And I know that you need to get home, so we're not gonna ask you to stay longer, but thank you so much. Good night. Okay, so we'll pop back to the organization chart. So if you could pull that back up onto the screen. This organizational chart, and I bring it forward to you to specifically discuss management and talk a little bit about some efficiencies that were made to the org chart. So with the resignation that we received tonight, with the current position of Assistant Super Student Services, our executive cabinet, you can see at the top, will be led by 3 assistant superintendents, 3 assistant superintendent positions. So as you know, in 23-24, we had 3 assistant superintendents and 1 associate superintendent on the cabinet. So this transition will result in a cost savings. As Ms. Bustani takes the role of assistant superintendent, she's going to supervise 2 of the different departments, both ed services and student services that you can see there. Ms. Bustani, as you know, was a principal coach supporting our principals on a daily basis, and our principals very much have shared with us that they want to continue the support that Ms. Bustani has been offering. And so in her role as assistant superintendent, she's going to continue doing that coaching, but we are not going to fill the principal coach position, and that's going to result in an additional cost savings. We were also able to realize a cost savings in the technology department by having our senior director, Leonard Rodriguez, supervise that department. What many of you might remember is that years ago, Mr. Rodriguez was also the director of technology. So he'll come back to overseeing that department and supporting that team, in addition to our interim director of technology, Matt in the back. So I want to share with you that we did a recalculation of the actual costs versus the averages, and the total cost savings for this reorganization is actually over $500,000. So the reorganization was necessary to strengthen our budget moving forward in reference to the governor's budget. And I know that it's been one of our board top priorities to ensure fiscal stability. So I just wanted to share this organization chart with you to highlight the management changes that we've made.
On my end.
No,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you for that. Okay. We can move on to our next item. We have a presentation, the process to fill the trustee vacancy. On March 1st, 2024, Diane Sabal resigned her position as board trustee, effective immediately. Superintendent Monica Hazel will be providing a presentation to discuss the legal requirements and next steps related to filling the vacancy.
Right, I think I'll do this one right here from the dais. So as you know, on March 1st, we received the resignation of trustee Sabal. And before we talk about the vacancy process, I do want to take just a minute and thank trustee Sabal for her service to our district. I really enjoyed getting to know her and her commitment to our district and during the time that she was here. So with her resignation, we enter into a process to fill the vacancy. And this is a process that I think we're familiar with because we just went through this process just a couple of months ago. And so the board has two options that we need to discuss tonight. So one option in order to fill this vacancy we have is that we could, as a board, order a special election to fill the vacancy. What's important to note about that option is that the district would bear the cost of this election. And it could be anywhere from 150,000 in some districts to 250,000 in other districts that comes out of the our district general fund. The other option that we have is to make a provisional appointment like we did with our last vacancy. And the person that's appointed to the position only serves until the next regularly scheduled election for board members, which is going to be in November 2024. The board has these two options, but if we fail to make a decision, we have, if we don't act within 60 days, the county superintendent has a responsibility to push us and call a special election to fill the vacancy according to Ed Code 5091. Go to the next slide. So my recommendation is that, as we did last time very successfully, is that we move forward with the provisional appointment. And I want to share with you what that process is as a reminder of what we went through and what we would need to go through. It starts off with establishing a subcommittee, and that's of 2 trustees and the superintendent to support the application process. Then we need to publicize the vacancy and the appointment process. And we would publicize that in the, in the Village News, on our website. We create an application packet and we seek applicants. Then the subcommittee then screens the applications to verify eligibility of the candidates. That subcommittee is not looking at who they think is the most qualified or who they like the most at that point. The subcommittee really is just looking for minimum qualifications to make sure that they meet the law's qualifications to serve in that role. That means, are they 18 years of age? Do they live within the District 1 boundary, and ensuring that they're not registered with the Megan's Law sex offender list? So after the subcommittee screens and verifies eligible candidates, then the board conducts interviews. And I underlined open session, open session, open session, because what I wanted to highlight was that all of this is done very transparently in front of the community, and the community can be very much a part of this election, of this appointment, just as it was the last time that we did this. So the board conducts the interviews during open session. Then the board hears public comment during the open session, and then deliberates and makes the appointment during that open session. So within 10 days after after the board makes that decision, then within 10 days to provisionally appoint, we have to provide public notice. So again, we would provide notice in the Village News, in 3 public places in the district, and a newspaper of general circulation, and that's according to the Ed Code. And the notice has to include the date of the vacancy, the date of the appointment, the name of the provisional appointee, and a statement that unless a petition calling for a special election is filed within 30 days, then that appointment becomes effective. So The law says that even after the board approves and appoints a candidate, that the voters of the school district may submit a petition within 30 days from the date of the provisional appointment to seek a special election to fill that vacancy. The petition that the public would need to formally submit has to contain signatures of 1.5% of the registered voting members in District 1. And that is, and it's that number based on the last regular election. And that's according to Ed Code 5091. So for us, that's 1.5% of area 1. Then the county superintendent would have to verify all of the signatures to make sure that they do live within that boundary and that they're accurate. And then if it's sufficient, then the petition would immediately terminate the provisional appointment that triggers that special election. And then a special election has to be held no later than 130 days following the determination that the petition is sufficient. So that's the overall process required to go through. And so then I just want to present, before I open it up for questions, is the potential timeline. So I'm recommending that we move forward with a provisional appointment because of how close we are to the upcoming election and because of the cost it would be to move forward with a special election that would elect somebody for a very short period of time at a very high cost. So this is the timeline. Starting tonight is the informational presentation. Tonight's board meeting, we will choose one of the two options, either the provisional appointment or the special election. Should we choose the provisional appointment, then the board would appoint a subcommittee of 2 members and the superintendent to support that process. From March 18th to March 1st, we would solicit candidate applications. So we would post the application in the newspaper, online, and encourage candidates to apply. The subcommittee would review all the applications and the eligibility, March 2nd to 5th. And then at a special board meeting that we already have scheduled in the morning, we could add it to the afternoon agenda. And at that time, we would have the board interviews candidates and accept the public input. The recommendation to do it at that special board meeting is the last time that we did it, we went almost until 11:30 at night. And we know that that's hard for our community. They want to be involved. And so it was, we want to make it a little bit more accessible. Then we would select the provisional appointee by majority vote. And then April 10th to the 20th, we would post the notice of vacancy and the provisional appointment. And we have 60 days in order to do all of this, and we must be done with our appointment by April 30th. And then our hope is that on May 9th, in our May board meeting, that the appointee would be seated at the board meeting. I'm going to just open it up for any questions.
So Superintendent Hazel, I'd like to request that we get a detailed street map of District 1 so we can be aware of what neighborhoods. I know a lot of it is Duluth, so it's up in the hills. But I think it's important for us to know what streets we're looking at, and it should also be posted on our website so the community can look and see as well.
Thank you. Our communications department just posted one of the maps in our closed session room and is also making those available on the website. So the website, the maps that we had didn't enlarge, and so you couldn't see the streets. So we had to call the organization that did them for us last time and do a little bit of research. And I wanted to thank communications and our executive assistant for gathering those maps. So we do have them, and they should be posted on our website tomorrow.
Do we have the maps on like an 8.5 by 11 or something where we can actually look at a hard copy? I know I saw the gigantic map. It might be a little much.
Yeah, because when it gets smaller, then the streets get
I know it's
smaller.
harder.
So I think the digital version will allow you to.
Okay, great. It'll let us expand?
Yes.
Good. Because the one we had before expanded into nothingness.
Yeah.
Right, so thank you.
Yes, yes.
Great, thank you so much. And that'll be available when?
It should be available, posted tomorrow. They have it.
Great, good.
Huh? Okay, 3 o'clock tomorrow.
Not 3 a.m. Kidding, kidding, kidding.
Any other questions? Okay.
Well, we were fortunate to have so many fabulous applicants when we had our last unexpected opening. And we have Dr. Fish with us because of that. So we're very grateful for that. So I would hope that we would get some other interested members of the community to step forward. And just so the community knows, when we interview the applicants, we interview every applicant. So it's not as though we make a choice. As long as they meet their eligibility requirements, everyone gets a chance to speak to the board and be heard by the community.
And we're a very friendly group and we all have a strong commitment to our children. And so we're looking for somebody that that will really work well together as a board to keep our focus on our academic achievement and our focus on reading and our beautiful environments, safe, inclusive environments.
I would send a note to the community, a verbal note. This district, under our current superintendent leadership and her cabinet, have really prioritized reading by the 3rd grade, which is phenomenal. And it's a fabulous time for someone to come onto our board and be part of what's probably one of the most exciting times in our history, to make a huge long-term change that allows all of our students to reach that level. It's a tremendous task and challenge, but we have the most amazing teachers and staff anywhere. So I think this is a really exciting time to join the board. It's work. We've all learned that. But it's work that's very gratifying. So we hope people will consider doing that. It's a phenomenal opportunity to make a difference.
All right, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
There's some more comments. We'll continue.
I think we need to make a motion.
Make a motion. We have an action item on this. We'll go ahead and read that. So the action is to adopt the process to fill the governing board vacancy. It is recommended the governing board commence a process ending with a timely provisional appointment as required by law. On March 1st, 2024, governing board member Diane Sabal announced her resignation from the FUESD governing board. Written notice was filed with the superintendent of the San Diego County Office of Education on March 1st, 2024, effective immediately. Board bylaw 9223 governs what action the district may take to fill a vacancy. Within 60 days of the date of the vacancy, the governing board must take action to make a provisional appointment or order a special election. If the governing board makes a provisional appointment, a board committee of less than a quorum of board members and the superintendent will review all applications to determine eligibility. Ms. Sabal was elected as an Area 1 trustee in November 2022 for a 4-year term expiring on November 2026. All qualified applicants will be interviewed at a public meeting and a provisional appointment will be made by majority vote of the board. If the governing board calls for an election in order to meet the mandated timeline, the district would hold a special election. That could result in an estimated cost in excess of $150,000 to FUESD. So, do we have a motion?
I would like to make a motion that the governing board begin the process of making a provisional appointment and follow the steps outlined, starting with the appointment of a subcommittee of 2 board members, review to determine eligibility of the candidates, interviewing candidates, and then a final appointment.
Thank you. Is there a second? Thank you. Any comments? All right. If not, I will call for the vote. Trustee Fish? Thank you. Trustee Lundin?
Aye.
And I vote aye, so that passes. So next we move on to the next step, which is also an action item to appoint a board subcommittee of 2 board members and a superintendent to assist with board vacancy process. It is recommended the governing board take action to appoint a board subcommittee consisting of 2 governing board members and the superintendent to assist with the board vacancy process. Nominations are now in order for the first member of the subcommittee.
For those who couldn't hear it, she's lost her voice due to a cold. She's not just being shy. Do you need a second for that? I don't think so. That's a nomination, right?
Well, second.
Okay, good. And then, since we need 2 people, I would nominate board member Connie Fish.
So we'll vote on yours
Okay,
and then we'll move on to the second one.
got it.
So we have Suzanne Lundin nominated. I will now call for the vote. Trustee Fish. Trustee Lundin.
Aye.
And I will aye. All right, so you are on board. All right.
Thank you.
Now we will take a nomination for the second subcommittee member.
I vote aye.
Or be Trustee Fish? Okay, good. All right.
Well, you have to vote too.
So I will, I as well. Okay. Thank
we
you.
go.
So that means Trustee is the second committee member. Thank you. Thank you for participating. All right. Okay, all right, so that takes us to our next action item. The 2024 CSBA Delegate Assembly Election. It is recommended the governing board vote for no more than 9 candidates to fill vacancies on the California School Boards Association, Region 17 Delegate Assembly. Delegates will serve 2-year terms from April 1st, 2024 through March 31st, 2026. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve all of them.
And I second the motion to approve all of the candidates identified.
Okay. And I will call for the vote. Trustee Lundin,
Aye.
Trustee Fish, and I vote aye, so that motion passes.
And I'm glad to see our colleague on the high school board, Mr. Eddie Jones, has agreed to do another term. He's a great leader and a terrific addition.
All right, some Fallbrook representation. All right, great. So moving on to business services, we have resolution number 15-23/24 to designate authorized representatives to San Diego County Schools Risk Management Joint Powers of Authority. It is recommended the governing board approve resolution number 15-23/24 to designate an authorized representative to San Diego County Schools Risk Management Joint Powers Authority, JPA. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
And a second? Thank you. I will call for the vote. Trustee Fish? Trustee Lundin?
Aye.
And I will aye. So that motion passes. Next, we have,
Can I have a question? Do we actually appoint someone today or at a future time? Because it says we designate and appoint a representative.
resolution. The names of it.
Great, perfect.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Okay, and next item, resolution number 16-23/24 to designate authorized representative to San Diego County Schools Fringe Benefits Consortium. It is recommended the governing board approve resolution number 16-23/24 to designate an authorized representative to San Diego County Schools Fringe Benefits Consortium for the Fringe Benefits Program. Do I have a motion? And do I have a second?
I second.
Any comments? And I will call for the vote. Trustee Lundin,
Aye.
Trustee Fish, and I vote aye. So that passes. And next we have another action item, annual fiscal resolutions for the 2023-2024 school year. It is recommended the governing board approve resolutions number 15-22/23 designating authorized agents to receive mail and pick up warrants at the County Office of Education. Number 16-22/23, payment order resolution. Number 17-2022/23, designating authorized agents to sign commercial warrants. Number 18-22/23, authorizing the replacement of warrants. Number 19-22/23, establishing temporary interfund transfers. And number 2022/23, requesting temporary transfer of funds. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
And a second? Thank you. Any comments? And I will call for the vote. Trustee Lindin,
Aye.
trustee Fish, and I vote aye. That motion passes. And next we have our second interim report. It is recommended the governing board approve the second interim report. Mr. Armando Farias, Assistant Superintendent of Business Services, will provide a brief presentation of the second interim report.
Good evening, President Favela, esteemed trustees, Dr. Paul, Superintendent Hazel, cabinet members, and guests. As your new Assistant Superintendent of Business Services, I'm truly delighted to be here and to be able to share a concise story that is also called a presentation on the second interim report, for the 23-24 school year. It is my hope that this story will provide you with the information that shows our team's commitment to fiscal solvency and stability. Before I proceed, I just want to bring a little attention to the reorganization chart that Superintendent Hazel mentioned. Now that I'm in business, it's truly relieving that we're looking for efficiencies to ensure what we call savings by reorganizing our cabinet. So thank you for that. What you see in this slide is a concise summary of the budget's chronological progression. In June of 2023, you were presented with the 23-24 budget for your consideration and approval. At that time, it was aligned with the state's proposals. In December, you were provided for your approval with interim one. Again, the interim one represented and showcased expenditures and revenues since the budget adoption. Today, I'm here to present to you the second interim report. This report showcases expenditures and revenues from December of 2023 to January 31st, 2024. But before I proceed, what is an interim report? What is the second interim report? School districts are mandated to report their financial status to their governing board, to the County Office of Education, and to the Department of Education. The second of these financial reports is the second interim. The second interim reflects actual expenditures all the way through January 31st. I must add that in this report, you will see the settlement that we engaged in with FIDA. Additionally, school districts are required to self-certify as positive, qualified, or negative. It is my honor to share with you that FUESD maintains a positive certification, affirming our ability to fulfill all of our financial responsibilities for this year and the next 2 years. Revenue changes. I just got my notes a little. Revenue changes. As you can see, there are no changes since first entering for the LCFF, also known as the Local Contour Funding Formula. For federal revenue, there is about $82,000 increase. This is an increase in impact aid. For other state revenues, there is a decrease of about $1.3 million. This is the Arts and Music Block Grant And this is just a recommendation from the San Diego County Office of Education that recommended that we move these $1.3 million to other state revenues. We also have other local revenues of about $98,000. These are a reflection of donations and medical billing reimbursements. Expenditure changes. As you can see, our certificate salaries have increased by almost $2 million. And these are direct reflection of our salary settlement plus any other certificated positions that we have put in place and hired. For classified salaries, we have an increase of $95,610. This is also a reflection of classified positions that we have hired. As you might be aware, we constantly hire special ed assistant ones, special assistant twos, in order to support our students with special needs who have an IEP. Additionally, we have also hired in the transportation department. Books and supplies and expenditures. Again, this is another recommendation from the San Diego County Office of Education in which almost $3.3 million were removed from books and supplies and added to the ending fund balance. On services, there is an increase of about $1 million. These services include site department internal budget transfers, and in fact, we're cleaning up the books. These services might be software, might be professional development, etc. Revenue expenditures and changes. This slide directs your attention to the specific section of the comprehensive second interim report, where you can find detailed information on revenue and expenditure changes discussed in previous slides. The data corresponds, the corresponding figure aligns with the data presented earlier. To locate this information, refer to Form 1 on page 17 of the second interim report. To me, to be honest with you, this is a page where the magic happens. As I was working with Ms. Cindy Pellin and Ms. Susan O'Connell, they were guiding me through this process, and I was able to see every single figure or amount that I have just shared with you in this page. It was just like I was working and putting a puzzle together, and all the pieces were fitting just right, just perfectly. And it really made a lot of sense to me. Coming from HR, I thought, oh my gosh, this is so very fascinating. Not only because the pieces were falling right into place, but because I have an amazing support system. It really makes a difference. General fund balance. The district is mandated, as you know, to uphold at least 3% for economic uncertainties, amounting to about $3.4 million the fiscal year 23-24. Additionally, we have set aside $3.6 million, surpassing the 3% reserve earmarked specifically for anticipated expenditures. Special reserve fund balance. On this slide, you will find a detailed breakdown of our reserves, special reserve fund balance, often referred to as savings account or our Fund 17. Through continuous and strategic planning, we aim to optimize our revenues, specifically allocating funds to commitments and assignments such as federal impact aid. Given our district's historical reliance on federal impact aid, which has occasionally faced delays in disbursement, we have proactively set aside $1.75 million from the prior year and an additional $1.75 million from the current year. This precautionary measure ensures financial stability in case of delayed receipt of federal impact aid revenue. Additionally, within our special reserves, we have earmarked 1.6 for economic uncertainties, further strengthening our financial resilience. In summary, as of January 31st, 2024, Fallbrook Union Elementary School District proudly reports a positive certification reflecting our ability to meet our financial obligations for the current and subsequent 2 years. Notably, our reserves stand at a robust 6.21%, underscoring our commitment to financial stability and fiscal management. What are our next steps? Our next steps are to continue monitoring the state budget to ensure that, I believe personally, and this is my opinion based on what I've read, I believe that our budget numbers in the future will go down when it comes to education's funding. And I also want to share something that Suzanne O'Connell shared at our last board meeting, that as she mentioned at the last board meeting, there is disagreement between the Legislative Analyst Office and the Office of the Governor over numbers, shortfalls, and more. The LAO, in other words, the Legislative Analyst Office, is nonpartisan and looks at numbers holistically. Personally, I believe that I'm more on the conservative side, and for that reason, I will make sure that we continue to keep a keen eye on the recommendations from the LAO for multiple reasons. Again, because they're more conservative, and second, because in the long run, they have been more accurate on their numbers and recommended solutions. Other next steps to ensure that we have LCAP/budget meetings, to ensure that we continue developing the 24-25 budget, and to attend the May revise. Finally, like I said, I really want to thank my team, Ms. Lindsay Pillen, who's here, Ms. Sheila Duncan, who's here, who have been amazing support, Ms. Suzanne O'Connell, and the accounting department. My team really deserves all of the credit. Thank you. I'm open to any questions that you might have.
Thank you
That's
so much.
great. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I
Okay,
make a motion that we approve the second interim report.
second. Is the second, any comments? Otherwise, I'll call for the vote. Trustee Fish. Trustee Lindeen.
Aye.
And I vote aye, so that motion passes. Next, we have, moving on to human resources, we have an action item to approve recommendations for new position descriptions for a warehouse lead, for Senior Director of Education Services, and Director of Information Technology Services and Support. So we need a motion to approve the recommendations for the new position descriptions. Thank you. We have a motion, a second,
I second.
and so I'll call for the vote. For any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. Trustee Fish. Aye. Trustee Lindeen.
Aye.
And I vote aye, so that motion passes. And next, educational services, we have an information item for workshop and conference attendance. We're pleased to support our teachers and staff to continue their professional learning as they participate in conferences, enabling them to perform their duties and remain up to date on new policies and procedures impacting their roles.
Bella, before we move to the consent agenda, I wanted to bring us back real quickly to the business item section. Under business services number 3, there was a small typo in the description here on the notes. It's not on the agenda. It is written correctly on the agenda and the resolution attachments are correct. But what you read and shared referenced 22-23, and it is actually 23-24. And so I think just to be doubly safe, if we can go back to that item and make that quick correction, that would be perfect.
That was which item?
It
Three?
is item 3.
And so is it correct on the?
It's
printout?
correct on the public
There's the
document.
public.
It is just not correct on the president's
Mhm.
notes.
Do you have that?
Yeah, it's the same one as here, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So the motion is to approve the 23-24 resolutions.
Right. So we'll go back.
And I'll second.
Do I need to read that out?
Maybe read it out
Yeah.
just to be safe.
Mhm.
Okay. So again, business services, item 3, it is recommended the governing board approve the following fiscal resolutions. Number 17-23/24, payment order resolution. Number 18-23/24, designating authorized agents to sign commercial warrants. Number 19-23/24, authorizing the replacement of warrants. Number 20-23/24, establishing temporary interfund transfers. Number 21-23/24, requesting temporary transfer of funds. And number 22-23/24, designating authorized agents to receive mail and pick up warrants at the County Office of Education. Do I have a motion to approve? And to second,
I'll second.
any discussion? I'll call for the vote. Trustee Fish? Trustee Lindeen?
Aye.
And I vote aye, so that passes.
Good catch.
That takes us to our consent agenda. It is recommended the governing board approve the consent agenda as presented. Do I have a motion?
I so move.
Thank you. Second. Okay, call for the vote. Trustee Lindeen,
Aye.
trustee Fish, and I vote aye. So our consent agenda passes. That takes us to adjournment. So this meeting is adjourned at 7:26 PM.
Good job.
All right.